Hey everyone, I have done chapter 2 ahead of schedule, so let's just get on with it. Here we go, chapter 2. So if you didn't join me for chapter 1 of 50 Shades of Grey, Anastasia Steele, the main character, went on behalf of her friend Kate Kavana to do an interview with Christian Grey. And it was totally awkward and weird, and she was like totally captivated with him. So in chapter 2 we start off, and Anastasia's come home, and she's like, "Oh dude, Kate, there you are, chilling in those pajamas with the rabbits on them." Kate's like, "Dude, how'd like the friggin' interview go?" And she starts totally grilling her. Then she's like, "Dude, you didn't notice that he was totally good looking." I mean, like, that is the first thing everyone's supposed to notice about this guy, that he's so good looking. Here, oh come on, Anna. Even you can't be immune to his looks. She arches a perfect eyebrow at me. Everyone in this book is perfect. This is not real life. Nah. Oh, and she blushes again. Excuse me, Anastasia blushes. She's like, oh, she gets all blushy again, and blah, 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 and so, wow, whatever. Stuff that's not important. And then she's like, why'd you make me ask him if he was gay? Totally embarrassing question. Why would you ask that of somebody? I don't even know him. Kate's like, oh, well, he's never got a date anywhere. The man's single. Fucking leave him alone. If you're single, you're single. Get over it. Anyway, then her friend Jose comes over, who's a co-worker or whatever, and is like, dude, I'm doing photography exhibit. And they're like, congratulations and shit. And then she's at the hardware store, like, totally doing her job, and she's chilling under the counter, discreetly eating a bagel. And I'm not sure how you discreetly eat a bagel, because a bagel's kind of big. Like, you can totally, like, slip a Tic Tac in your mouth. You're just kind of like, whoops, what was that? Nothing. You can't, like, fucking shove a bagel in your mouth. It's like, bagel. There's no discreet eating a bagel. Fucking, don't be ridiculous. So she's, okay, here's where it gets creepy, because she's totally just, like, chilling, eating her bagel. And then she looks up and realizes Christian Grey is totally standing inside her hardware store. And here, it says here, it even says here, then, for some reason, I glance up and find myself locked in the bold gray gaze of Christian Grey, who's standing at the counter staring at me. It's not like he came up to her and said something to her, like, he was just standing there staring at her. That's so stalkerish, that's so creepy. He just staring at her. Oh, fuck. And now, of course, we delve into these massively large descriptions of how attractive he is, with his tousled hair and his creamy, chunky knit sweater. His voice is warm and husky like dark melted chocolate fudge caramel. Or something. Exact quote. And she's flushing, and she's blushing, and reminding us that he's not merely good looking, he's the epitome of male beauty. Breathtaking. Oh, and he's here in the hardware store, which is called Clayton's in case I call it that or whatever. And whatever, and she mutters, and he murmurs, and he frowns, which wrinkles his lovely brow, and she tries to stand up without tripping over herself because she's totally always falling all over her shit. And then he's like asking her shit, like, dude, do you have some like fucking, cable ties? And she's just like, fuck cable ties, come with me. And he follows her, and he's like looking around, and she's flipping out in her head like, why is he here? He's here to see me. No, he's not here to see you. Blah, blah, having this internal argument with herself like, he's here to see me. No, he's not. Anyway, so she gets him these like cable ties, and he starts like being all weird, and she asks herself, surely he hires laborers or has staff to help him decorate. Fucking good point. Isn't that what would happen? And so they start talking again, and she murmurs and blushes, and he mutters again. And he touches her, like, the accidental kind of like, whoops, brushed hands, and she, like, flips. She's like, there's electricity, and I gasp, and I feel it somewhere dark and unexplored, deep in my belly. Like indigestion or something. She's got indigestion! And she goes, after he touches her, she goes, anything else? And my voice is husky and breathy. And then he goes, this is totally creepy, he goes, some rope, I think. His voice mirrors mine. Husky. So he's getting totally worked up a rope. Rope! I need rope. Some rope, I think. Rope. These people are freaking me out. They're having sexy discussions in a hardware store. Like, these fucking people. And she's, like, flipping out, and it's like, dude, it's rope, calm down. And so they're, like, she's cutting him the rope and shit. And then he randomly asks her, were you a Girl Scout? That's so freaky. Yes, a uniform and that rope. And then he asks her, like, what is she into? And his voice is soft. Again. And she says, I gaze at him, unable to express myself. I'm on shifting tectonic plates. Technically, we're all on shifting tectonic plates. You're not special in that regard. We're all fucking moving on. And she says, books. She's into books. She whispers. Whispers. And then her subconscious is screaming. Literally, it says, my subconscious is screaming, you are my thing. And she slaps it down. Like, she totally, like, bitch slaps her subconscious. It's some kind of fun stuff here. And then he says, what kind of books? And she goes, oh, you know, the classics, British literature, the usual stuff that, like, every college kid is into. Most college kids I know don't even like to read. I like to read. I don't like to read this, but I like to read. And then he's like, you know, Reverend Chin going like this, and she thinks he's contemplating her answer. Or perhaps he's just very bored and trying to hide it. Me. That's me. That's me right now. And those fingers on that face are beguiling. And then they start having a totally innuendious talk because she's like, dude, you should, like, get some coveralls and stuff to protect your clothes. And he's just like, I could always take them off. Such bad humor. And then she's, like, freaking out. Freaking out. And then he asks her this totally innocuous question of, how's the article coming? And she flips out. He's finally asking me an easy question, away from all the innuendo and the confusing double talk. A question I can answer. I grasp it tightly with two hands as if it were a life raft, and I go for honesty. It's not a hard question, dude. He's not asking you something weird. He's not, like, asking you about your mother. He's asking you, how's the article going? Oh, good. And then she explains, oh, Kate's doing it, and she, you know, he goes, she wanted an original photo. He's like, I can get you an original photo. And they try to, like, set up a photo shoot. And then this dude named Paul comes, like, chilling out. And I think Paul's one of the people that, like, he's, like, one of the brothers of the family owned hardware store. And he's, like, talking to Anna and shit. He gives her a hug, totally friendly, and Christian is, like staring at her. And the atmosphere is suddenly arctic. And they're, like, freaking, and Anastasia starts freaking out. She's like, dude, this is Paul, and he's like this, and he's like that, blah, blah. And then Paul is like, wow, you're Christian Grey, can I get you anything? And he's like, Anastasia has it covered, Mr. Clayton. She's been very attentive. His expression is impassive, but his words, it's like he's saying something else entirely. It's baffling. It's called subtext. If you like the classics in British literature, you should know exactly what subtext is. That is so stupid. And then he's getting all mad, and she thinks out loud, what is his problem? You are his problem. And then, freakily enough, when he says her name, she says, his tongue caresses my name, like, Anastasia. I don't know. Something like that. And then she's like, oh, I'm glad Miss Cabana couldn't do the interview. It's just freaking like, oh, I like him. And he's attractive. Very attractive. She's known him for 2 days, and she's already like, ah, big fucking crush. And that's the end of chapter 2, and he leaves. And she's all like, I need to find, like, a fucking photographer to do this photo shoot. So this is chapter 2, which I thought was slightly more hilarious because they were, like, getting husky with the rope and shit. They were getting all excited with the rope, which I think is foreshadowing because everyone tells me this book is about, like, kinky sex and stuff. And I keep hearing people saying that 50 Shades of Grey is attributed to saving a bunch of marriages. I'm like, I don't know how. Do they, like, read the dialogue and think, thank God my relationship's not like this, honey, I love you? Because I can see that totally coming about. And my other question then becomes, and I hope somebody can answer it, this is supposed to be really popular with women, but the writing is just so bad. Like, when you get to the sexy scenes, how do people get through them? Or do you just, like, laugh through them? Or are people honestly like, yeah, this is sexy? Because people are saying it's sexy, and there's, like, all sorts of sex workshops set up for it now. It's totally freaking me out. But anyway, chapter 3, coming up in the future. I'm going out of town, so I'm probably going to get a lot of opportunities to work on the SwanCon. Hopefully you like this better. Hopefully my camera has not screwed everything up. Hopefully nobody died. Yeah. Have a good week, guys. See you later.